Hello, babe. Yeah, I just enlisted in the U.S. Navy because
I feel the need for speed. Ow!
Okay, do you remember that time when you were a kid and you played, I guess, like dress up, like whether you want to be, a firefighter, a policeman, and you just use a bunch of props, in your house, and then you just pretended to be those things. Yeah, that's how I felt coming out of this movie. Driving home, I felt like I was, flying a jet, going, 9 Gs, but I was really going 30 miles per hour. Yeah, this movie gave me that feeling again. Yeah, so this is my review for Top Gun Maverick, and I'm just gonna go straight into it. And yeah, this movie is definitely my favorite movie of the year. I absolutely love this movie. This movie was awesome. It is beyond what I expected because I honestly did not like check any of the trailers when the movie came out, or not when the movie came out, when the movie was announced, and when all the trailers came out. I actually didn't see any of it. Basically, I just went into this movie just knowing the synopsis of the story. So as you know, Tom Cruise reprises his role as Maverick, and basically he's called back to Top Gun to train the top recruits in that program, because they're about to go basically in a suicide mission, and he's basically tasked to train them and get them ready for this daunting mission. So yeah, this movie's awesome. I mean, like, it is, like I said, it is my favorite movie of the year. The Northman was my top, and this took the place. It took it over my top, top place for movies of the year. This movie definitely caught me off guard. I mean, like, just the choreography, the stunts, the aerial flights, and just the maneuvers that they were able to pull off and get on camera. Like, I was actually watching a behind the scenes, and actually showed off like how they were able to pull it off and how they were able to use practical effects. So like a lot of it is, like I said, practical effects, and they didn't use much CGI. I don't want to get into spoilers, but there is parts where you can tell there's CGI, but it's very like minimum when it comes to like to the overall movie. And it's funny because going into this movie, I was thinking like, man, I don't know, like I was expecting like a lot of CGI, because I thought there's no way they're gonna pull off all these crazy shots, especially with like flying jets, going as fast as they're going. Like, how would these cameras be able to last? I feel like like they would just, like, I don't know, fly off or just get incredibly damaged, but they pulled it off. I mean, if you have a chance to see it in IMAX, or if you have a chance to see it in Dolby Atmos, I highly recommend it, especially in Dolby Atmos, which is the type of screening I saw it in. Just the sound, and just like the jets flying over it, and just the bass, because I believe the Dolby Atmos, they have subs in their seats, and you just felt it, like the rumble, and it was just an amazing experience. You can tell the sound engineering utilized those the Dolby Atmos and stuff like that. So this movie has a lot of fan service. I don't know if you're into that, because some movies, they just throw fan service just for the sake of fan services, like, here, like, remember this, remember that, and stuff like that. But the way they did it, it was in a, it wasn't over the top. They did it in a respectable way, and then just, like I said, most movies, they overdo it. They kept it like at bay. They didn't go overboard with it. A lot of people in the theater loved all those, callbacks from the original. They haven't really publicized it, so I don't know. This might be a spoiler. But Val Kilmer does reprise his role as Iceman. When I heard this, I thought he was just gonna do a quick cameo and stuff like that. And they were just gonna be like, hey, Iceman. But like, the way they handled his character in the movie, I thought it was well done. There is a scene in the movie that is very emotional, and it got me choked up a little bit, which is surprising, because like, actually talking about that, this movie actually has a lot of heart and emotion, which really surprised me. I mean, I know I said I said it a couple of times, because it did, honestly. But the emotion in this movie actually, yeah, it really tugged with my heart. Especially the dynamic between Captain Maverick and Rooster, which is supposed to be Goose's son. There's a real emotional dynamic there, because on one hand you have Goose's son Rooster, who's played by Miles Teller. He's holding a grudge between Tom Cruise's character, because obviously there's some history, and I guess Rooster feels like Maverick is the reason why his dad is dead. And on the other hand, you have Tom Cruise's character Maverick, who still is struggling with the death of Goose, and he still hasn't really forgiven himself for letting, well, not necessarily letting it happen, but that's how he feels. He feels like it's his fault, and so he's kind of like trying to be the father figure of Rooster, but there's this like crazy, intense dynamic between the two, and I thought it was really, really good. Miles Teller was awesome in this movie. Tom Cruise, honestly, he brought a lot of the emotion in this movie. I do feel like this is probably one of his better performances in recent years. I know we got the Mission Impossible movies, but those are more like, just action movies. Well, don't get me wrong, this is definitely a blockbuster movie as well, but it definitely has the emotional story behind it. And Tom Cruise definitely, after watching this movie, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. Like Tom Cruise is actually he's not just an action hero, but he's actually a great actor as well. I know I've been giving this movie like high praise a lot throughout this review. I mean, it deserves it, rightfully so. But there is one thing that I didn't like about the movie, which is the love dynamic between Tom Cruise's character Maverick and Penny, which is played by Jennifer Connelly. I believe that's her name. I don't know. I just couldn't buy into it. Whenever they had a scene together, I just like was kind of like, my mind was going elsewhere. I'm like, yeah, I don't really care about this. I just want to go back to the other stuff. But yeah, I honestly, that's probably my main flaw of this movie. I mean, like I said, this movie caught me off guard, caught me by surprise. So yeah, that's honestly the only flaw that I had with this movie. I mean, I got nothing really bad to say about this movie. This is definitely one of the big surprises for me of the year. I got more than what I expected. It's just pure blockbuster cinema. I mean, I haven't seen this good of a blockbuster movie in a long, long time. And it's crazy to think that because, especially with these types of movies, these sequels where it's been like years and decades and time has passed and everyone's gotten over it. A perfect example, most recently, The Matrix. The new one wasn't that great. And also Independence Day. It's really hard to capture that lightning in a bottle again, especially when time has gone by. You don't have the same creators. You don't have the same writers, The actors are much older. The actors, just everyone involved has gone and done other things. But somehow, not only did they made this movie great, they made it even better than the original. And yes, I'm saying that it's definitely better than the original. Like I said, I highly recommend this movie. Go check it out. I highly recommend you see it in IMAX or Dolby Atmos, especially for that sound. It's just amazing. I don't know if you can tell already, but I'm giving this movie 5 out of 5 planes. This is a definitely must-see movie. Everyone should see it. I hope people see it. A lot of people watch Marvel movies and, throw all the money to Disney and Marvel, but this movie deserves to just be a blockbuster success. So yeah, that is my review. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.